Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's time for a little more of that. Roll20 presents Tomb of Annihilation. A great sound has been heard. A splashing and the lumbering, a
Ooh.
humming and the singing, and it has interrupted our players in their mid rest. And so you reach the edge of one of the ruined tents and peer your little furbolg head around the corner, and you see, limned by what little light there is, walking along the edge of the water, an enormous shape. Enormous. Humanoid, a large head, two big arms, two legs, a torso. It's not wearing much, maybe a big old loincloth. And God, how tall is this thing? 30 feet? Maybe a little more? And
Jesus.
you can't make out any more detail because it's dark, right? It's hella dark. And so you just hear this thing. And what's happening is that every other step, it's walking with one foot in the water and one foot on the land, and it's just kind of splashing along with one leg and walking on the land with the other, and it's like humming to itself as it walks. You can't make out any other details of this giant, except that I suppose it's carrying a tree, a big old tree that's had all the branches broken off of it to serve as a club, and has a bag slung over its shoulder, and it's just kind of singing to itself like
It is a bag, man.
and it's like sloshing along. And you poke your head out, and it stops, and it turns its body towards you, and in a deep, rumbling voice, in the language of giants, it says, "Oh, look at that little thing," and takes a step up onto the shore. And I think here, let's pop over. I'll show you its token as it comes closer. I think it steps up onto the shore and crushes one of the tents with a enormous cyclopean foot. So just like smushes the tent. Yeah. And he looks down at you, and you can see the moon and the stars reflecting in his enormous singular eye. And he looks down and he says, "Well, what have we here?" Everyone else, you hear this thing come out and just be like, "Brrr," and this like horrible rumbling language that you can feel in your bones, even from shit. How far away are you? Like 50 feet away. You
I
can feel
ready
the
my
deep bass of its voice, like shaking your guts.
I ready my crossbow.
Does it sound similar to like Earth primordial language?
Giant probably evolved from Earth Primordial, but not in a way that you can speak it.
Well, I'm definitely like listening for the similarities though. Like this is a like, oh, that's scary but also interesting. I'm not gonna go anywhere near it. I have 2 hit points.
And it looks down at the tent that it's crushed, and it looks up at you, little fox, and says, "Huh, was this yours?" And like kicks its foot to kind of get the mushed up tent off of it. What do you do, little fox?
Oh, I'm muted. Huh. Little Fox just says, "No, not mine. I live in the jungle."
And it squints at you with its one eye and says, "Live in the jungle, eh? Hmm." And it takes another step towards you.
Yeah, and I'm just like looking for food, but none here. What are you doing?
He says, "Oh, just taking a walk. I do so love the moonlight." And he turns and looks up at the moon. He says, "Looks like a great big yellow eye, don't you think?" And he like,
Yeah, and she just
boom, drops his club on the ground and like leans on it and like looks up at the sky.
she nods and says, "Yes, yes, like the eye of some great creature there."
And he nods. "Precisely my thinking." And he squints at you, and he says, What sort of a thing are you? And takes another step forward.
Yeah, and she just says, Furbolg.
Furbolg, is it? Haven't seen one of those before. Link squints down at you.
We're from far away.
And he nods and he says, "You're taller than you looked from a distance, little thing."
We're tricksy like that, Furbolgs.
And he looks back this way. Malik, maybe you notice his body language as he starts to turn his body. Arcturus, you're kind of hidden because you're like
I'm
couched.
definitely hiding. I'm just like.
All right,
but
Arcturus,
also-
Arcturus, make a stealth check with advantage.
Okay.
You don't have your armor on, so you're making it normally,
Oh, okay. I don't have great.
but
dex.
with advantage because you.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so you got an 18. That's fine.
Yeah, I was behind the foot of the thing, like probably doing the whole like that sounds interesting. Oh, it also sounds really big and dangerous.
Malik, what are you gonna do as he's like and like starts to look back in your direction?
I don't have my pack, so I just Malik's not above this. He like kneels down and kind of does the hope praying thing.
We're not worth. So you prostrate yourself.
Yeah,
Okay. So
so big.
he sees this thing and he's like, you hear him rumble this to you, little fox. Oh, what's that? Another one. And he starts walking this way and he just crushes this tent and continues towards Malik.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get his attention
Okay.
and just be like, that's not another one, that's a different thing.
Okay, make a persuade check because you want to stop him because he's definitely
Yeah.
gonna smush Ishi. And Ishi, you
Yeah,
hear
don't
you hear the
smush my
footsteps, and I
friend.
think there's like holes in the tent so you can peer out. You see him coming.
Okay, so I make a persuade check. I'm gonna
If he looks like he's gonna
spend
step this way,
inspiration
I
here.
run. By the way, I'm not gonna like stand in the tent as he smushes it.
but I will try to distract him for
Mhm.
Ishi.
Yeah,
So,
to let Ishi stay hidden.
with advantage, I get a 17
Okay. Why do you have advantage?
because I spent my
Oh, you used your inspiration. Okay, so he's like, "What's this?" and starts walking over, and Malik like throws himself down on the thing, and he stops. You say, "That's a different thing."
Yeah,
He
like, that's a
turns.
different thing, not a Furbolg.
He turns and he sniffs the air, and he says, "Well, what's this one then?" Ishi, do you want to sneak out of that tent? Okay, where do you want to go?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the next tent.
Okay. So here's the thing about the next tent, Ishi.
There's a cobra in it, right?
Well, not a cobra. So in it, I'm gonna say that
I checked all these tents the last time.
you did it this morning. So the thing is, so you come around the corner and you jump into the tent, and peering through the tent, you see another creature. It's about your size. It has kind of rust-colored skin. It's not a kobold though.
Okay.
It's wearing like leather, I think leather armor. Yeah, it's wearing leather armor, and there's a tall oval-shaped shield and a scimitar lying next to it. But it's
Okay.
currently got its face pressed up against the edge of the tent, peering out at the giant. And you come around the corner, you pop into the tent, and it's just like staring
So
out at the
it's-
tent. It
it's
doesn't see or
looking
hear you.
Out at the Cyclops?
Yeah, it's looking out at the Cyclops outside.
Okay. I'm still hidden, right?
Yes, yeah.
I continue to hide.
So you're just like standing behind it, or do you want to leave the tent?
I just.
So what are you doing?
Just try the next 10.
Next
Next
tent.
tent. Yeah.
Okay, this one is unoccupied. Yes.
Just like, oh, this one's taken. Okay, I'll go to the next one.
Okie dokie. All right, and then I'll move to the far side and basically do what this other
Got a hole
creature
in
is
it.
doing, but
Two
in the
little eye
tent
holes.
on the
Yeah.
other side, yeah.
All right.
And so yeah, Little Fox is doing the thing where she's trying to like keep its attention and move in a way where like when people are talking, they tend to maintain a certain distance. So
Mhm.
she's just kind of like subtly trying to like pull it away so that it's not, because I can't see Ishi or where she's gotten to. I just knew she was in the tent. And so I'm like, oh yeah, we'll just get into a debate about what a thing is. We'll play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, she'll just say, don't you know what that is? Have you seen one before?
The Cyclops says, well, it looks like a man, but isn't the right color. And he looks over at Malik. He says, but I can hardly see its little face. Let's see your little face, man. And he like turns, like looks over his shoulder at you.
This is in giant.
Yes. So you don't understand any of that.
I mean, as he sees the thing turn towards him, he's like glances up, and it looks at him, and he,
yeah, Little Fox is gonna keep talking.
Kind of stands up, and he's like,
and he looks, and he squints, and he says, aha, just as I said, looks like a man, but not quite the right color. What's wrong, little man? Did they take you out of the oven before you were done? Ho, 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 ho.
Yeah, and Little Fox is like, he's not finished. Half cooked, like you say. Can't even speak.
And you say that in giant.
Yeah, right. Like he can't speak properly, I think.
And he shakes his head and he says, well, of course he can't. It's a wonder any of you can speak at all with your tiny little brains. And he starts looking around and he says, I haven't been down this way in some time. Used to be crawling with men. But now, anything to eat around here. And he uses his club, and none of you saw Ishii run out of that tent, and he uses his club and he just swipes the tent with it, and debris goes flying, and the tent gets caught up on the end of the club, and he looks, and he's all disappointed. He's like, thumps the club on his shoulder, and he's like, abandoned, I think.
No one here, like I said.
Ishii just doing the kobold equivalent of sweating bullets in like the tent.
Yep.
If Arcturus had known Giant enough to hear the Giant insult his intelligence, he would have probably had a problem with it. But he doesn't know Giant, so.
And he takes a step over, and he looks over at you, Little Fox, and he's like, lifts up his club, and he's like, what about this one? And he swings his tent, and this time you all hear this like, ah! And like a crunching sound, and he lifts it up, and like blood and fluids like drip off the bottom, and he shakes it. He's like, got something. And then a goblin body slides off of the end of his club and then splats onto the ground. And he looks at it and he's like, a goblin. And he picks it up and he looks over at you, Little Fox, and he says, this wasn't yours, was it? As he like bites its head off.
Yeah, and she just says, I didn't think you would consider that a meal. This is just a little snack for you.
And he nods and he says, my old grandma used to say, many snacks make a meal. Got any more snacks around here?
Adam, I'm gonna move.
Okay, where are you going to now?
Point of order, the next tent.
Okay. So you run over, and he takes another step, crushing this tent, and he looks at the other one, and he looks back at you, Little Fox, and he says, maybe a little gentler. And he's like jamming the goblin in his mouth. I like it when they're still alive.
And she says, we met some people like that on our way. Or, well, no, she won't say we, she'll say I. I met some people like that on my way here. Out in the jungle. Little triangles on their heads. Have you seen them?
He stops and he looks at you and he's like, blue, right here.
Yeah, and she like taps her forehead.
And he nods. He nods. He says, that's a dangerous thing. Keep away from that, Furbolg. And he snaps up the tent, kind of like he's lifting the tray off of a plate. He's like, nothing there this time. And he like uses the tent to wipe his mouth and then flings it into the back.
Well, and so she's gonna keep grilling him about like, well, why would you be scared of them or worried about them? I should say, not scared certainly.
And he says, well, you have to be aware of the territory. Everybody marks their territory different. And he takes a step sideways and smushes this tent, and he says, he's like, that blue thing, what did you call it? A tree angel? Shakes his head. Nope. I steer clear of that one.
Yeah, and so she says, well, you seem like a very nice fellow, and maybe, since we're out in the moonlight, you could tell me where you steer clear of with the triangle.
And he says,
is that around here?
He shakes his head and he says, no, only in the bad parts of the jungle. And he says, deep to the south. Let me see. He's actually from a specific place. Let me take a look at where it's at to give you an idea. Because he's traveling. He travels to and from there.
Yeah, and the little fox is going to try to get a sense of like where his territory is then too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think my follow-up question is like, well, and certainly I wouldn't want to go wherever you mark your territory, which I can see how you might leave a trail and like try to like get him to chuckle at like, yes, you smash things. That's cool. You're such a cool guy.
Yeah. So so what did you ask him?
I'm just like, but how can I make sure I stay out of your territory since you mark it?
He says
she indicates the tents and stuff.
Yeah, he says, everything south of the peaks of flame belong to me.
Wow, just you.
And he nods and he says, don't you believe what that dragon says? All that land is mine.
Oh, I don't understand that. Never mind.
God, this guy's voice is hard to do.
Yeah,
he says, all that land is mine.
And she nods very like somberly and seriously, like, yes, of course.
Dragon
it's very important.
He says, you especially stay clear of the bay. That territory's forbidden.
Wouldn't dream of going there.
He nods and he says, damn right. And he gives you a look. And he's standing, like literally, you can see his foot right next to your tent, Ishi, like his big hairy foot. And this is the foot he was walking around in the water with. So there's like little leeches stuck to it. And he says,
I'm trying to decide whether or not I stab this guy in the toe or not.
He looks at you, little fox, and he says, I'm just on my way there now. He squints. He says, if you weren't so small, I might invite you to join me. But I like my women tough, and you're a bit fragile for me.
Maybe when I'm bigger.
He nods and he says, once you're full grown, head south. Come see me.
And so then she says, so that's your territory down to the south, and you're not there now. So who's keeping an eye on it?
And he looks at you, blank stare. Are you trying to get him? Are you trying to convince him to leave?
Yeah, basically like, hey, shouldn't.
Okay.
If you're not there, then maybe something bad's happening there. Maybe you should go there.
Yeah. You're not trying to deceive him. You're just trying to like point out something that he might not have thought of.
Yeah, is this like a wisdom thing?
I think it's just persuasion. I know you're not great at it, but he's also not very smart.
Is it persuasion rooted in wisdom?
No, it's just charisma. I know
Yeah.
it's a good story. But if someone else has advantage, they can inspiration, they can give it to you, right? They can use theirs.
Ishi, do you want to lend me inspiration so
Sure,
that you don't die to a giant foot?
Sure, I can do that. You can have mine.
Right. Make an ugly truth test. Ob 3.
Here we go with advantage. Ooh, it's good that we have the
Nice.
advantage. I got a 17.
So he stares at you, and he grits his teeth, and you can hear his teeth like grinding.
in place of the gears in his
Mhm.
brain turning over. Yeah.
And he's got his club on his shoulder, and he's got his bag, and he's like, "Oh hell!" And he turns and he takes a couple of steps towards the water, and he looks back at you, Malik, and he says, "Try lying out in the sun for a while. That ought to darken you right up." And he steps into the water, and he lumbers off into the distance.
So we hear him moving away.
Mm-hmm. So after a few minutes, his humming gets quieter and quieter, and the thump splash of him walking in the water slowly recedes into the distance.
I run over to where the gory mess of a goblin was and check to make sure it's not Ishi.
You're like, "Oh no," and run over.
And yeah,
I mean, I
Little
would
Fox
assume
just like
that Little Fox wouldn't allow that to happen, but yeah, I was
she
worried.
just stands there stunned, like sweating, and then like once the giant is a little bit further away, she just like curls up in a ball and cries. Like she's just so upset, just like like so big and horribly scary.
So
like
I'm checking to make sure that this isn't a dead Ishi.
Yeah. So you run over. Make a perception check.
Okay. 23.
Okay, it's definitely not a dead Ishi. If you had failed, that would have been really funny too, because I would have just been like, "Yeah, it is."
Ishi.
it's your little friend.
So you run over to the smushed. I guess it's not even the whole thing. Like he ate most of it. So there's
But
it's like the bottom half
it's
of
probably
a
just
goblin.
like its stuff.
there's a crushed shield. There is a there's a scimitar that's broken in half. And I think you pick up a piece of like a painted wooden mask that has like goblin blood all over it. It's like a shard of a wooden mask.
So,
Ishi, where are you?
so Ishi emerges from like the only remaining tent.
Uh-huh.
He goes like, "That was a good thing I wasn't in any of those other tents."
That thing was massive and
It was so close I could have stabbed it right in the toe.
I'm glad you didn't take the same tactics that you did with those hags.
Hmm.
Still,
Well, Little Fox had it well in
still
control.
angry.
So Malik, what are you doing? I see you've moved over to Little.
Yeah, and Little Fox is like fully curled in a ball, hugging her knees to her chest, crying.
So Malik, what are you doing?
Malik goes over. I don't think he touches her, but he says, You did very well getting rid of that creature. It was terrifying. It was huge. I don't think I've ever seen anything that big. And you got rid of it all by yourself. You are certainly paying for your keep on this trip. I'm sorry what I said about earlier, the traps.
Yeah, and it's just like the ugliest, loudest, like crying with the deep inhales, just the, and then just like cry.
No.
And it's like it's
Like,
not
she's
you're not
so-
scared anymore, but it's that like your body just all of a sudden being like,
Yeah.
"You can relax now,"
Like,
and we're
you
just
get
gonna
to
fall
feel
apart a
all
little.
of the fear that was being bottled up because she just had to be like, no, everything's fine. We're just gonna hold on. Yeah,
Little Fox,
she's just a mess.
Little Fox, are you okay? You're gonna be all right. We made it through the thing. You
Yeah,
did
when
the whole-
when Ishi is close, she just like reaches out and grabs you and just
my
like
God, you're like a
crushes
little
you. And
teddy
just, like,
bear.
hugs. Yeah. Just like, "Ugh."
Oh my god, it's
There's
so
this
good.
like twisted off, squished Ishi be like, it's okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So she just like hugs you and is like really upset because you almost died like 3 times.
I think that like the way Arcturus would try and comfort you if you would let him would be to like crouch next to you and like reach out to touch like your tears
Oh yeah, you like wipe her tears up. Yeah, she's just like
and
a
then
big
use
squishy teddy bear at this
and
point.
then use the salt water from your tears to like blessings of Estitia.
Mhm.
Aw, yeah. So everyone takes care of Little Fox a little bit. Yeah.
I love
She,
the
like,
idea of
calms
everyone.
down.
Yeah, everyone crouched around Little Fox, being like, "It's okay, it's okay."
And yeah, she like goes back to the campsite and just like goes to sleep. She, like, curls up
Someone
in her
else.
sleep.
Yeah, my watch is done.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
done
out.
my watch. I'm
My watch has
sleeping.
ended.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Cool. All right.
Oh, that was so fun. It's
Yeah,
so
that was a good
ridiculous.
one.
Like 30 feet tall. It's so big.
Yeah, huge.
It's so huge. Like that thing.
Huge,
Just
huge.
Adam, like that thing could kill all of us in one hit, basically, right? Like
It's real
at the
strong.
same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really strong.
No, I gotta wait till I'm a level 20 barbarian and my strength total gets set to 24, and then I
You
can
just
arm wrestle
bench press him.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
Arm wrestle him.
Then he and I can go on dates.
Yeah,
It'll be
he's a big
cute.
boy. Yeah.
Except that he's a horrible person.
I mean, he's not necessarily a horrible person. I tried
He's
to.
just a little bit dumb.
If he, I mean, he didn't attack on sight. He wasn't evil, right? Like,
Just
Well,
hitting
yeah.
on minors, that's all.
well, he has a he's confused about how things that are not giants are. Also, he probably lives alone, right? He's a solitary giant out in the jungle. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
It's a weird life being a giant Cyclops thing.
All right.
When
Well,
you're
I
all
guess
grown up, come and hit me up and we'll go on dates.
So you wanna finish your rest?
our rest. Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so you
I'm
finish
so
your rest. So let me give you experience. So for surviving the Cyclops, and for the cannibals that I owe you for before, let me finish.
I owe you some cannibals. Here
Yeah,
you
let
go.
me finish
Yeah.
calculating this here. So let's see. I'll give you. Yeah, this seems good. And then that.
I just imagine him as being like a crazy hermit. He's just crazy jungle hermit Cyclops guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So I have a quick question in terms of the way that XP has been handled before.
Yeah.
When Little Fox overcame the scorpion by herself, you only gave XP to Little Fox, even though we were all there.
Yeah, you have
else
to be like in danger or like participatory in the scene. So like if the
We
scene
were
is just
all
like
in
a
danger.
single roll, it's usually one person, but like everyone will get experience for the Cyclops because
Yeah, this was a group effort.
it
for
could have
sure.
become a much bigger thing. And everybody made rolls and everyone was a part of the roll. So y'all get. I had it calculated and then I didn't tell you what it was.
Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay.
That goblin.
Now I just want my quest to be to go like hang out with the Cyclops.
Everybody gets 360.
That'd be so
experience.
cool.
Cool.
Okay.
360 added to whatever you currently have. So if you'd like, let's take a quick look at the player map of Chult, and you can
Because we just learned a little bit of stuff, right?
yeah. So if you zoom all the way out on the map, you can see that y'all are here near Camp Rageous, way up top. The peaks of flame are some 300 miles to the south. Beyond that, the bay he was referring to could be Snapping Turtle Bay
Or the Cauldron.
the Cauldron, probably one of these somewhere in this area.
Can I draw on this map, Adam?
You can, yeah.
Okay. Just gonna draw a big single eye.
Nice.
This is like Cyclops territory
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
in the land of ash and smoke. There lives a mighty Cyclops and possibly a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as big as the Cyclops is, I'm not entirely sure that's his territory. Not if he's competing with the dragon, but I'm sure we'll see if we.
If I had been able to understand the word dragon, that conversation would have taken a different turn.
So yes,
He's
the
like,
peaks.
I'm a dragon.
If I would have understood the giant dissing my intelligence because my brain was small, that would
And your inability to speak languages as well, which would have
yeah,
really
that would have
ground
been
you
that
up.
would have been bad.
Mhm. So the the peaks of flame are also home to a red dragon named Tinder, and every
Oh, right.
every
Dragon.
goddamn time.
The Cyclops wants to date me and
Tinder the
has
dragon is
Tinder
in
in
And
the
his
has the
territory.
dragon named Tinder next to it.
That's
the dragons and the peaks of flame.
that's where that's
Okay,
where
I'll put that on our list.
Cinderlock, or I can't remember what I can't remember what Tinder's full name is, but yeah, something like that.
And I wonder if the two of them have some kind
You
of
want to add
relationship.
the Cyclops to the quest list?
Yeah.
If you want to, I mean, you have a list that you can edit it.
Cyclops, peaks of flame.
Mhm.
It's like a notable thing about
Flirting.
the setting at
Flirting
the
is
very least.
definitely the reason why we're going there.
Well,
Definitely
and-
flirting.
So part of what I think would be interesting with the Cyclops is that he's not necessarily hostile, as we've established, and so you might be able to go and like get his help with some other problem or something, and he has information because he's lived around here for a long time, presumably, and can walk from Camp Righteous to the Peaks of Flame in like an evening because he's so enormous.
Yeah, I mean he's on a long walk, but yeah, he's a quicken because he's
like maybe he's like a couple days out, but still that would take us like a year to get there.
It'll take you a while to get down there.
That's the really weird thing about T&D. It still will give something that big like 30 feet of move, so he isn't actually faster than us.
Yeah, I mean I figure overland travel is easier for him, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but like in a round of combat, he doesn't just go bloop now next to you.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess
Because he moves, his
a bit odd.
limbs are slow and he's kind of cumbersome, I would imagine. But yeah, scary.
You don't get
I feel like
tired.
if you're a giant in a world where everything is small, you're constantly dealing with difficult terrain because you're just like stepping on
Because you have to walk
trees
through
and everything.
everything.
There's no clear territory for you to run around in.
And you need to eat so much too, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount of volume of stuff that he needs to eat is a problem for him,
Mhm.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So
What's the name of
we
those
get
mountains? The
off
fire.
rest?
Let's see.
Fire Peak?
Sindalore. That's the name of the dragon.
Yeah, TZI and
Zindalore.
Yeah.
AKA
Nice.
Tinder. All right. So, yeah, it takes a bit for your heart to stop pounding, and for the adrenaline to work its way through your system, and then you're exhausted, and then it's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Sleep of
It's
the dead.
that whole arc for
Yeah.
for Little Fox.
And the rest of the night goes by uneventfully. Everyone recovers all their hit points and their spells, and and now you're okay. So,
Hooray!
the next morning, when you wake up, what do you all do?
So we going back in the stabby statue place or what?
I still question the reasoning for going in there in the first place.
Because traps hide stuff that I want, probably.
Well, you didn't do a very good job of detecting the traps, so how are you to know that they were hiding anything at all? You could have stepped right on the thing that they were hiding and not noticed.
Okay, you go first.
No, that's reasonable. If you think that there are things that only you'll be able to see, then by all means take the lead.
Not that only I will be able to see them. I'm merely saying that if you can't see the traps, how are you supposed to see what they're hiding?
Because the thing they're hiding is usually in a room after the trap's in a box that you open, and that has another trap that goes off in your face because you open it too soon and you're a little bit too eager to get at the thing in the box.
Traps are a deeply, powerfully held cultural tradition among kobolds.
Very much so, yeah.
Very, very much so. Like
Yeah.
overcomplicated, super ornate.
Like Rube Goldberg machine
Oh,
level,
yeah.
like crazy
Like a
traps.
trap where you step on a trap at the beginning of the dungeon, and by the time you get back to the end of the dungeon, you get hit in the head with a hammer.
So kobolds are trap people.
Oh yeah,
Kobolds
Oh,
love
yeah.
traps.
They
and
love
This is
that
basically
shit.
a-
would
this is like a
aspire to
challenge
make
for
traps
you.
like this. Yeah.
You were like, oh,
Um,
look at all these traps. I have to do this so that I can tell.
Exactly. Like, if I can get through all the traps, that means whatever kobolds made this, because that's Ishi's assumption, whatever kobolds made this aren't as cool as me,
Right.
because I can get through
God, I
them.
love the idea of like a holiday of kobold trap like festival where you're like you build all these deadly snares and stuff, and whoever can get to the end like wins essentially and gets to be chieftain or something. It's so good.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
And because kobolds are, I mean, I think they even see themselves as expendable. So like hundreds of them die during this festival, but like it's fine. We can just make some more.
That, yeah.
So
it's
good.
Great.
I love it.
And so Ishi is talking to Arcturus about all the like traps and stuff, and the little fox just says the traps are like the story. If we remember the story, we get through the traps.
What
Okay.
story? I didn't hear it. I never got filled in on this
The
story.
third telling. of this
Okay. Let me
Okay.
tell you the story again.
I want to hear the Ishi like short form, the Ishi's notes version of the story.
All right, Ishi's notes version. Okay. So there's a man, and he's on the bank of the river, and the crocodile's like, I can take you across the river and it won't hurt. And the man's like, that sounds like a good deal. What can I do for you? Or I'll pay you back. And then the crocodile's like, okay. So they go over the river. And then at the other side, when he's crossed the river and it's all safe, the man says, okay, so what can I do to repay you? And then the crocodile says, carry me across the whole world because I took you across this one river. It's not really a fair deal, but the man promised that he'd do whatever the crocodile said, so then he has to take him all across the world, and now crocodiles and men hate each other.
So
It's true.
if
Fair.
we are
Inspiration.
if we are more
Also,
hateful
Little Fox,
than
take
other
inspiration for the last scene too. You should both have it charged.
Ugh.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
So if we're more hateful or ride on piggybacks, we'll make it through the traps.
Well, I suppose we could see it either way. This
Or
is a
are we-
temple which depicts the act of carrying, but it also has a moral to the story. I think it's about 50-50 which of the two approaches is the best one to take.
I mean,
Would I-
Little Fox is pretty much the weight of 2 grown humans and didn't set off any of the traps.
Right, so it's probably one at a time.
Floor trap felt like and she does this like hand thing to be like a tippy
Oh,
thing.
it's like a balance plate. Yeah, okay.
Needs one person, extra people.
So we should go
swords.
2 at a time, is what you're saying.
No.
That Malik and I nearly died
It's true.
doing that.
One or
Didn't
She
two.
work.
holds up a big gnarly finger. Just
And for whoever's going first this time, I've been in places like this before, and this should be useful. And he takes the 10-foot pole and he says, "Put that in front of you, checking the floor, check the walls for those pressure plates again."
Yeah, there's definitely a moment in the anime of this where you're like, I've done this before. I have something that might help. And it's like flashy background and like just the long pole.
stick.
Ta-da!
it's just like a long.
It's a big
hand
long
of the
stick,
length of this pole.
Yeah, totally.
And it's
Take
just
it.
like there's no way it could have fit like anywhere in your backpack, but
No.
suddenly you just have it and
Yeah,
have had
yeah,
it.
yeah. The pole gets like a hero shot for sure, all the way like slowly along the length of it as the music plays. Yeah.
For reference, also, this is one of the many possessions that Malik has that I am carrying in my bag.
Yeah.
So he pulls it out of Little Fox's bag.
Yep.
And it's probably like a collapsible one, right? Like it breaks down into 3-foot sections or something.
Yeah.
That's only a 9-foot pole.
It's a meter. It's a meter pole. All right. Don't worry
It's a
about it.
3.3 recurring forever magical pole that's very close, but not exactly 10 feet.
Got it.
Yeah, it's
Ancient
a
tradition.
pole of what's the
It's a
word
three-
for that when a line is approaches but never reaches?
There's a joke. There's a joke about that in Stars Without Number. You can buy a 3-meter pole.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you have this long stick.
And so Little Fox will volunteer to go like try to run the trap gauntlet.
Okay.
If everyone's cool with that.
So what are you
Yes,
gonna do
it's
first?
A pole of asymptotic connecting.
Yeah.
Where it will travel towards but never reach something.
Right. Cool. So you
It's
reach
a
for the
curse.
floor with it, and then we just stay here forever. The rest of the
Yeah,
campaign,
just never-
waiting for it to hit the. It's fucking Zeno's paradox, but a pole.
There is.
Oh
Um,
boy, nerds.
Okay, and so basically, here's how she's gonna do it. She's gonna get a running start, leap across this 20-foot deep pit, grab the rope that we still have on there,
Mhm.
tightened into the pressure plate above, climb up the rope, walk across the thing, carefully keeping her weight like centered on this tippy plate thing.
Okay.
And then she'll try to. Okay, so we got to think about the story, right? There's the river that's too deep or whatever that the man can't cross, which is the pit, presumably.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
and then we're getting into like the world of men that the crocodile has to ride on the man for. So what do we think this third trap is going to be like? And I think Little Fox is like drawing this all out in the dirt, trying to like
Before you go.
diagram it out and like plan the run.
Okay, so
For how
the
she's gonna
world
get
of
through this stuff.
the part about the world of man is that the crocodile's on the back of the man, right? So, and the man's not happy about it. So maybe if you go in all angry and stuff and like stomp.
Yeah, and Little Fox's eyes just narrow as you say that. Just,
Yeah, like that.
What
was
if
the
what
next
if I
one?
threw shatter in and just destroyed the floor and the swords?
Yeah, and Little Fox like reaches for her hammer, like, oh, we're doing it that way.
I mean, some people would feel that would be against the rules. Of
I mean,
the whole...
so Malik, I mean, it's certainly a plan, but like this is an ancient statue, and damaging it. Like you've seen Fish Whip do the nuclear bomb attack before, and it is rough. It will dramatically damage the statue for sure. It'll probably work, but
Fish Whip.
It's a good last resort if we don't manage to work out how these are intended to be done.
Thanks, Napoleon.
All I'm saying is that if you, and I'm mostly pointing to Ishi and Little Fox, you tell us to go back in there without convincing me that you've taken good care of those swords, I will not be following you.
You haven't listened to me so far, so I don't feel like it's gonna continue to be like.
We died. Nearly. I mean, I didn't die. I was.
Malik was badly hurt.
We died. That's a dramatic overstatement of what happened, but that's fine. I understand. Getting hurt sucks. I get it. We'll make sure. Well, I will do my level best to disable the swords, or at least know how they work, so I can tell you how they work. And if you fuck up, it's your fault.
I'm so confident in your abilities.
Just gotta be less flat-footed. Finned. Whatever.
Whatever you got going on down there. So let's talk about the plan.
Let's parkour our way through this nonsense.
All right.
So I jumped the gap. Presumably how we get across this pit trap was to like
we've got the ropes
move on all fours on our bellies or some shit, like a crocodile. And we missed our opportunity to do that, and now it's just a pit. So
we've got the rope that leads down to the pit, so you can just climb down the pit.
So I can just climb up that. It's easy.
Yep, no problem. You don't have to worry about
the next one with the sword thing.
So you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom of the pit. You're at the bottom of the pit. What are you doing?
Yeah. So she's gonna climb the rope.
Yeah.
Up to the top. When I'm at the lip or the corner, because you mentioned there was this whole like tippy pressure plate thing. Little Fox is gonna look at the corner. So
you actually can't. Yeah, looking at it, you can't see any difference. It just looks like floor.
It just looks like floor.
Yeah.
And so she like reaches a finger out and it's like pushes on it while she's hanging down the side and like leans
doesn't
on
seem
it
to do anything.
And I'll pull out one of the little spikes, the little climbing spikes, and try to like wedge it in somewhere.
Yeah, there's no edge. Like it just it's a right angle.
It's wild. It's well-made traps. All right, so then she'll just haul herself up.
Okay.
Onto the thing.
Okay.
And there's like the pause of like
your danger sense begins to tingle. Can you make a dex save?
Jeez. Okay.
Okay, you get it. So the blades start flying. You take 11 damage as they like slice past you. You got all these little like cuts bleeding onto the floor. What are you gonna do?
And she like looks back down and just says, like, didn't work, and then keeps going. She's just gonna try to like very carefully with the pole, like poke around on the other set.
Okay, so poking the floor, tapping it, poking on it,
lean on it a bit.
Yeah, no, doesn't seem to.
Nothing happens.
Doesn't seem to move.
And so. Yeah, I guess I'll just do the like walking with your feet not leaving the ground thing where you just like slide your
shuffle into the next square. Okay.
Yeah, just very carefully.
All right.
Because we don't know how this thing works.
Moving forward. Nothing happens.
Okay, and then I'm gonna pull this screen aside.
Yeah, it's slid back. It seems like it rolls. Maybe it's slightly like canted down, so it means roll. But you slide the screen, and now in front of you there's the area. So this area actually you have to go up a step to get onto that next area, right? Each area is like up above. So you have to pull you pull yourself up and then slide the thing aside. So it's not right flat with the floor. So you're looking forward, you can see another screen. There's another platform on top of it. The screen is just set into the wall. This one doesn't slide. And then you have like a kind of a gap, like you're looking up at it at an angle. So you can sort of see the next area, but not
there's
really.
like another
Yeah,
lip.
it's like there's the floor with the blades, and then it goes up, and then there's the slidey thing, which you've moved out of the way. There's the floor, and then it's up again. And you can sort of, if you're standing where you are here, you can sort of see up here. Does that all make sense? Can you see that?
So because of the lighting, can you just move your whole diagram back to the left?
I'll just
and
move.
down?
I'm going to move you out so you can see it.
Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the next thing you have to cross, the floor in front of you has this 4x4 pattern on it.
And that's in this section.
Yeah, you're standing on a little lip. The floor has a 4x4 pattern, and and you can see the.
And the screen I pulled out of the way also had a grid on it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just like it looked like the floor, basically. Just a plain, just like a gridded pattern.
And does this door that I've opened, does it like want to retract or does it stay open?
Yeah, you can hear it slowly, like sort of sliding back in front of you. You're standing on a little lip.
Okay, so she's gonna wait for it to retract fully while on the other side, so that she gets close.
You actually can't. You have to step past it. There's no like, it'll close in front of you unless you step out onto the
right
grid.
onto the grid.
Yeah.
All right, well, I take the 10-foot pole and I poke the back corner piece, this tile.
Okay.
Poke it and try to like push it down.
You push on it, and you're not sitting on the. Okay, all right. You push down on it, and you hear a click, and then a whooshing sound, and a blast of heat suddenly like washes over you. Everyone outside, you hear. And you see a bright flash inside. The pole just like lights on fire and then breaks in half and like crumbles. Superheated fire just like blasts into the room, and then your pole lights on fire and like just super hot.
Huh. What part of the story had the superheated fire?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just like does that and then is like her just like frowns, like looking at this burnt
I don't think
stick.
the story had fire.
Yeah, and there's just like you hear like a loud grunt from her of just like, shut up, I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
So this is gonna be like you have to step on the right squares thing or some shit. Is there any kind of pattern on the grid that's on the walls? Is there any like
not that you can
squares?
see? Not that you can see, no.
Give me something to work with
know,
here.
right? Like, I just-
puzzle.
Other than go for it, I don't know what to say.
So yeah, like this panel thing that keeps wanting to close again. She's gonna like brush her hand on it to try to clear away any dust or anything and see or like feel if there's like a marking on it or something like that.
On what?
So I feel like there might be some clue as to like which squares I need to be on.
I agree.
On this grid.
Yep.
So I like feel for it if there are like false panels or buttons or some shit on the actual door piece.
So you let the thing slide in front of you.
Yeah, so that section is closed off.
No, it's just like a gridded like pattern. Make a perception check.
Yeah, I will do it. I will spend inspiration. I want to figure this crap out. This was the most inspired roll, Adam. I get a 6.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a stone door in a little track.
So yeah, Little Fox, I think at this point just gets frustrated and like pounds on the door thing really hard. She's like, and you hear like a bunch of smashing, like she's like hitting it with her hands in frustration.
Are we going with the exploding option then?
And then like, yeah, I guess I lower myself down and I'm like yeah, you can hear her like breathing angrily, but like calming down. And then she just like carefully shuffles across the floor of the Blady area.
I'm gonna activate it again.
Am I? Maybe.
Let's find out.
So going back this time, I'm gonna try to move a little bit differently than I've been moving.
Okay.
I think she'll try to go on all fours like a crocodile
Okay.
and keep her weight more spread out
Sure. You can try that.
and see if that does anything.
Okay.
And she's gonna feel real ridiculous while doing it, but whatever.
Okay. Yeah, basically right away you feel the like, uh-oh. make a dex save.
I got 17.
Okay. Woof, 14.
Yeah, so I got 7 HP.
It's all
left.
flashed up. You like roll out of the way. It doesn't cut your head off or anything, but yeah. And then you manage to get to the edge, and you can drop down.
And then
into
just
the
like roll over the edge,
yeah, slide
holding the
down.
rope and slide down.
Okay.
Yeah, land down below.
Yeah,
She looks very upset, and then she'll
yeah.
climb
Cut
into the
up
pit.
and just looking, just kind of burnt.
Yeah, and I just like haul myself over the edge, and I'm just like singed and cut up and grumpy.
Let me help with the.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel which way it tipped?
Yeah, and she just like shrugs.
Let me. I'm gonna try and help with the singeing.
Okay.
8.
So you heal 8.
Okay.
It's not
Well,
a thing.
And
As
so-
intrigued as I am, nothing's worth you getting hurt this much.
It was
Let's just leave.
even more dangerous after the swords.
fire.
Okay, fine. If we want to leave, then we can just go.
And like she can't like let go of it, so she like grabs Malik and pulls him over to the dirt, and then like draws in the dirt, draws the like 4x4 grid,
Mm-hmm.
and then the like wall door thing, and then the ground bit, and it's just like
Yeah, here.
pointing
Let's
at the wall.
let's
and, like,
let's zoom in on that drawing, and I will draw it out for you. Basically, how it looks from the side, and y'all can decide if you want to keep at it or whatever. So, if you're looking at this from the from a cutaway version on the side, it goes across when you come in. There was a section that would have been the floor. There's a pit. Then you climb up, right?
yeah, and
Then
then there's Sword Town.
there's Sword Town, right? And then you climb up.
The vertical slits for the sword.
So you climb up.
bits.
There's a short lip, and I'm going to switch colors. There's a door. And then there's the floor with the grid where the fire was, right? And then, what is that? What are you doing? Oh, drawing the grid. Okay. I'm going to need that space in a second. And then there's
I will move my grid.
another, and then out. And above it, the ceiling is, for this one, yeah, I think the ceiling more or less follows this pattern. But like it's mostly open above you, but at this point, this is where we hit the ceiling, and it kind of like drops down accordingly. So it's like a tunnel essentially going up. So for each platform as you reach it, like you could see standing here, like up into it, and then from here, when you were down here, you could see, but it was blocked by the thing. So that's kind of what's ahead of you.
Yeah, and so Little Fox like is really fixated on, because I feel like even though I failed the test at him, like she has this sense that there's like something going on there, but she can't figure it out, and it's just like really infuriating her. And
Yeah.
so she's like stubbornly grabbing Malik and being like pointing at this thing, this grid of 4 spaces.
Yeah.
And like not even making words, but just being like, and like pointing at it.
You know,
But she knows that the key is like in this pattern somewhere.
You know,
but
when
she
she
can't
gets
figure it out.
she gets like this, we're not gonna be able to leave until we get to the end of this thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've played puzzle games before. I know what it feels like. You're just like, oh, I can do this. It's like it's so close. So
And then having explained it, she just walks away
Mhm.
and just starts like destroying anything that she can touch.
you
in
just
the
go over to the
camp.
jungle,
She's
start
just
hitting trees.
tearing things down and like
Awesome.
kicking things and just losing it. Like she's so angry.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take a break here. We can all take 5, ponder it, take a step away from the puzzle, and when we come back, if you want to take another shot at it, we could do that. So stick around. We got lots more Tomb of Annihilation coming at you when we return.